Anthony, can you hear me?
Hello, hello. Yeah, I can hear you well.
Awesome. Let's begin. I want to welcome everyone to the fourth episode of the Crypto Subscription Podcast, show where we invite the founders of the crypto startups and founders of crypto communities with subscription business model and roast them on why they think that the world needs another project. Just joking. Where we would like to put a spotlight on the business that they are building and the secret sauce they put into their projects. Today we have a wonderful guest, Anthony, the founder of Liteflow. I would give a microphone to you, Anthony. Please introduce yourself and your role at Liteflow.
Sure. So first of all, thanks for having me. So my name is Anthony. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Liteflow. I've been in the space for pretty much the beginning of Ethereum, so a couple of years now, I would say, and building in the space for quite a while. And in the past 4 years, building Liteflow, running Liteflow, and trying to help a lot of clients to get into the Web3 space.
That's great. What is the story behind Liteflow and what inspired you to found it?
So first of all, like I was saying, I'm in the blockchain space for pretty much 10 years and building like most of the time on that. So I was involved in some previous projects, still trying to see how to connect Web3 and like blockchain in general to actual real business case. And so yeah, we took some time to kind of like figure out how to do that correctly. And then basically 4 years ago, a bit more than 4 years now, we were like, okay, now we need to actually really help these businesses. So I have a long past of like creating different companies, always with the concept of like building like SaaS products in a way, some products, to help companies to actually go to markets, to develop the product they love, to do all these kind of things to support their business needs. And it was still something quite missing at the time. And even still now, there is still a lot of work to do on that to basically like provide the tools for these businesses and the support for these businesses to easily get into Web3. And so with a couple of years that we had of experience in the space, the network that we built, we were able to already start to, from day one, basically when launching Liteflow, we're able to start to work with existing clients to really try to understand their needs, try to understand what they want to do, what they see in crypto, what they see in blockchain, and build basically the tools they were needed at the time. Initially it was mainly focused on the NFT part. That was like 2020. So before the 2021, craziness about NFT. So initially we got a lot of requests about people wanting to get into NFT, to create their own NFT marketplaces and so on. And then yeah, over time we kind of like change, like we increase a bit the type of product that we are doing. But that's kind of like the original story of Liteflow.
Is there any, story that something clicked you into having that idea, maybe some conversation, or how did you get there?
I think one thing that really clicked was, so on the previous venture that we did before, like with the same team, we worked on a previous project before that was like dedicated blockchain. So really like advanced projects, but not really the point here. So the point was that at some time we worked with the clients, that wanted to basically digitalize everything and tokenize everything in the game. And that was like before Web3 games and before all this kind of stuff. That was like something like 8 years ago or something like that. So quite a while. And it was like, okay, now we can transform basically anything into a digital asset, where this digital asset can be absolutely anything, like anything you can think about, like even like your email or whatever. And then you can even trade this part. And so the moment you start to really, and I understood understood that part when working with this client, where it was like everything is a digital asset. Everything that you do every day on your life, everything is a digital asset. Even your like that you put on social network or stuff like that can be considered as a digital asset. And the moment you actually really have a way to own this and to leverage the value of this, that's where you can start to see how crypto and how like blockchain really have a chance to redefine the whole ecosystem of businesses that we have and to really add like a new layer that didn't existed before. And so that's where we really wanted to start initially with the NFT part to really try to transform all the different assets that you have in your day-to-day life, to digitalize it, to make sure that now it's something that you own and that's something that can be actually valuable and that you can trade on the future and so on.
Wow, so you really seems ahead of the time with that, trend of tokenization and digitalization of everything. It really starts to, we're really starting to see the moments that this is put in life currently. But like 4 years ago, or even 7 years ago, it was impossible even to imagine, things like that. So really, kudos to you for that. But I would like to ask more practical question: how does Liteflow simplify the integration of NFTs and broader, crypto Web3 technology for businesses?
So there is different parts of Liteflow. So on one side, something that we've done for the past years, that we continue to do, and that is part of the value of Liteflow, is really to try to really understand the businesses and to kind of like advise them on like what makes sense to have on the blockchain, what doesn't make sense, what kind of tools are useful, and all this. So the whole advisory part to make sure we really understand their business needs. So that's one side. And another side is actually like building all the tools they need. So to make sure that a lot of these businesses, I think that we've seen, a lot of these businesses, they don't know how to do like Web3 business model, even Web3 product and all that, which is fine. It's a new word especially for companies that already exist, and that want to migrate into this Web3 world. It's hard. It's a paradigm shift it's hard to grasp sometimes. So we make sure that all the technical aspects, we basically can cover these parts, and also all the business model aspects, we can guide them to that. So more concretely, that means like basically all the solidity, smart contract, all these kind of things. A business should not worry about any of that. They should be able to say like, I want to launch a token. I don't know if it's a smart contract, if it's solidity, if it's Viper, if it's whatever. They shouldn't care about that. So they have a goal. They want to do something. They shouldn't have to go through the hassle of like learning about this technology, learning about how to use it, learning about how to hire people for it. And it should be like as simple as, just like clicking a button basically, and that's it. If you want to accept payments on a business, you don't have to understand how a bank works and how banks settle money with each other and how like a bank account is created. All these kind of things doesn't make sense. What you want is like product like Stripe, where you go and you say like, I want to sell this, period. So that's basically what we are doing with Liteflow. We give them the tools that if they want to launch a token, they can launch a token without knowing all the details of that. If they want to launch some NFTs, they can do the same. If they want to launch NFT marketplaces, we can give them an exchange for that. If they want to launch some vesting or some staking, basically to give like this all like 360 tool suites to cover all the needs for their Web3, their Web3 needs.
That sounds great. And can you share some specific use cases of the company out of, from Web 2, out of Web 3, who came to you and you helped them with technology integration?
Yeah, so I would say there is two type of companies. Really, the So the pure player basically are projects that are like, we want to do something in Web3 and we try to build in Web3 and we get into the space because we want to do something in Web3. We know that. And so this one, even if they understand the space and they understand what they want to build, they don't necessarily have the full knowledge for that. So we have them. So on that part, like we work with different clients on that. Projects like companies that actually wanted to launch NFT marketplaces, for example, where like their whole business model is based on getting some fees on their marketplace. They do some marketing for that. They bring some buyers and some sellers in their marketplace, and they can have some fees on every transaction that they can customize. So that is like one use case that we had quite a lot, because especially that at the beginning of Liteflow, we are really focusing on NFT marketplaces, to have like specific niche for these marketplaces. So that's one of the use case. Another one, something that we did work with some Web3 pure player again on that, was like the work around token to actually create some launchpad, or to create some staking or vesting tools, when you do your token launch, for example. A lot of projects, usually when they launch their token, they want to make sure that their investors is actually invested in the long term, so they put some vesting in place. So basically, we give them the tool that they just decide what type of vesting they want, and we take care of the whole technical aspect, basically, to make sure that they have the vesting they are looking for. Similar for the token. Then on top of that, Launchpad, like I was saying, something that we did work quite a lot with different Launchpads. We worked as well with a lot of like staking tools, either to, create some kind of like dynamic communities and to incentivize communities to get more like in line with the product. So a lot of projects actually do staking with some system of rewards, whatever type of reward, if it's like reward with a specific token, with system of points, or just some staking for doing like really something that's like proving that you are committed to something. So again, wide range of staking. So yeah, I mean, like when you start to work in Web3, you realize that most of the tools, like most of the components are always the same. After, it's how you connect them together. So on all these businesses that we have, like, and I'm talking about like GameFi, SocialFi, even some DeFi and things like that. It's always a combination of like assets that can be NFT or token, a combination of exchange, of trading. So basically like trading these assets to make some money on that. And a combination of like locking system with like some staking or some locking mechanism. And when you cover all this stuff, after it's more like how you connect all the bricks together, similar to kind of like Lego pieces where you are like, okay, I want to do this part combined with this part. And now with this, I can create a new business model. And so that's where we also have all these different projects to really try to help them connect all the pieces that make sense for them.
And is it something that you create individually for every project, or it is like pre-made, components that you could combine based on the demand of your customer?
So it's a bit of both. That's one of our big, I would say like a big North Star with Liteflow is that we build based on what people need. So we didn't start it to have like a product that cover everything and that nobody is using it. So we started to build basically what people wanted. So initially we actually built what they need, and then so this is like kind of like custom, and then we actually transform it into like our SaaS offering, where basically they have a dashboard and they can deploy the stuff on their own. They can access the different tools and everything. But all these pieces came from work that we do, mostly custom with some clients. And then at some point we actually like, when we make sure that we got like enough knowledge from working with enough clients to generalize these concepts, that's something that we bring into our products. And that's where we actually like start to make it as a SaaS product, where all these pieces are already either deployed or we actually let you redeploy them directly.
Sounds fair that you gain some practice and experience building some specific cases. But when you have enough of the experience in that, and there is something that is reused by other customers, you made it into the product that could be accessed, into the dashboard, right?
Yeah, and the goal, and I think that's where also, like, I'm not saying only Liteflow, but companies like Liteflow, like building tools for the ecosystem, have like a big part to play in this ecosystem. Is that if you start to build some tools, but you don't really have any use case, you end up with useless project, basically. It's good for the hype, but it's not good for adoption. So our goal here is really to try to kind of like lead the way of like things that we see with existing businesses, and we work with kind of like the top leader in the space. So we can know basically their needs. From that, we can start to create the tools that match their needs. And then from that, we can basically like drive the direction of the space to really say like, okay, now you want to do a game and you want to integrate Web3 component in that. This is the way you can do it. And we have proved that basically there is some projects that are doing it that is successful. It's a business model that works, and you have all the tools to do that. So that's also why we really try to push on like working with businesses directly. So this way, these businesses will drive indirectly the way where like all this new project will come and they will want to get some inspiration. I want to be the next game from Animoca. Okay, I want to do the same business model that they are doing. I want to integrate the same type of tools. And with the tools that we provide with Liteflow, basically we have all these pieces to combine with each other.
You have mentioned projects with hype but with no real adoption. Have you helped launch Memecoin?
We haven't. No, Memecoin is something like we do have some clients that actually integrate Memecoin in their products. So at some point we were working with some platform that were doing SocialFi, where basically like all your posts are like NFTs. You can trade your posts. You have some economics with that. And they were pushing on like having like a Memecoin in their platform. We also have NFT marketplaces that actually run with some meme coin for payment as currency, but also some kind of like meme NFTs. So not ourselves directly, but some of our clients definitely did work with meme coins.
I was preparing for the podcast today, browsing your website, reading the documents, and one of the things that caught my attention was NFTverse. Could you tell more about that to our listeners? What is this?
Yeah, so NFTverse is something that we launched about a year ago. That's a way to start to aggregate basically all the best minds in the space, to create some events, to showcase their work and everything. And the way we structure that is basically at every major conferences, we are doing side events where we bring like all the best speaker in the space. So like the last one was like in February during NFT Paris. We had Robbie, for example, CEO of Animoca. And yeah, the goal is to really like try to get like people we work with, our clients, our partners, people who are like kind of like interested in the space, and for an evening to really network with everyone, make sure there is like business opportunities for everyone. If you're looking to raise some funds, if you're looking for partners, all these kind of things. So trying to create this really strong ecosystem. Liteflow is not like a big public company where we have like thousands or like millions of followers on Twitter and so on. But we have like a small ecosystem, but really connected. And that's the part that we really want to do, is to make sure like every one of our clients, every one of our partners can have access to this ecosystem. And NFTverse is a part of that. So we have events. We also do some interviews with these members. We introduce them to our network of existing clients, but also like existing partners. And we try to really push to have collaboration between these businesses, because something that is really really powerful in Web3 is that there is no competition. It's always just like the more you collaborate with people, the more your business will be successful. And that's where like this is quite different from the Web2 kind of like era where like you have a similar product and you are like, no, I will never work with this guy because we are in competition. Here's like this user actually like they are good to go with both products and everything. And doing some collab on that is actually something like really, really powerful. So that's a part of things that we are trying to do with NFTverse is really create this ecosystem where like people can work with each other, they can leverage each other's strengths, and they can really like network to start to know the people in the space, to be like driven by the ideas of the people in the space and really basically like move forward with their business.
Sounds good. You have mentioned that there is no, the competition in the Web3 space is different from what is in Web2. But, obviously, with Liteflow, there are other companies that are doing similar things to what you do and helping businesses get onboarded into NFT, into Web3. So what sets you apart? What are the key features that differentiate you from other companies? Not competitors, saying other companies that are trying to solve the same problem.
I mean, one thing that is really like a big differentiator is like we don't really start to do it from day one with like we are building a SaaS and that's it. We really work with the companies directly to really support them, to really help them. And I think this is like one of the major differences with some other kind of like services similar like that, where like we don't aim to be like, having like millions of users using Liteflow and all that. We just aim to be like having like a couple hundred of businesses, 1,000 businesses, but really the good one, basically. All the one that we drive the space and that we lead the space and that we inspire other people. So we are more like on a really long-term vision, basically, where we try to narrow it down to the best player in the space. And right now we are working with quite a lot of insightful, I would say, companies. We work with Animoca, we work with Motoverse, with Grapes, Unagi, Lunchblock, and so on. So quite actually a lot of companies that are well established in the space, that are actually driving the space. And that's what we want to do to make sure like we have really this core foundation that is like really good. And then after we can expand compared to some other solutions that are like, we want to target the masses, that everyone can be a business, which is true, which is the end goal. But us, we want to really make sure we want to target the businesses. And then this will open the door and inspire other people. But that will take a bit more time.
Sounds good. And if we break down, the customers that are approaching you, what is the, geographical, maybe industry breakdown of your customers?
So in terms of geography, I would say there is not like we don't have like any specific geography in mind. We work with clients from US to Australia, with a lot of in Europe. So quite everywhere. We are actually based in Asia. At least a big part of the team is based in Asia. So we start to work with some projects in Asia as well. So no specific geography in mind. But in terms of projects, one thing that we've seen quite a lot, which is not something we only focus on, but it's a good vertical to help, is the whole game industry. So the whole game industry where all of these games want to integrate Web3 in it, to have some GameFi products. They want to have all their assets in games. They want to have all their inventory in game to be able to trade all this inside their game or outside their game. So they need to have some token in place, which they want to have like some vesting, some staking, and so on. They want to have some point system to have kind of like XP level and all that. And basically we cover all the range of tools that they need for that. So that's where like there is a really good fit with games. So I would say that's one of the main thing. And we worked with, like I was saying, with a lot of games in the Animoca portfolio, group, because they are focusing quite a lot with games. We are also part of the BGA, the Blockchain Game Alliance, that is really trying to push the blockchain in games. We're also part of OMA3, which is like the Open Metaverse Alliance, to really try to standardize all the different tools to make sure that basically games and like everyone that is working in the metaverse can actually integrate that seamlessly. So yeah, gaming is a big part, but it's not the only part. We've been working with some clients on the social aspects, like with social file tools. Even recently worked with one company that is doing like podcasts, and having some social network part on top of that. So yeah, honestly, a bit of everything. And that's the magic, I would say, of having the foundational bricks, is like, it can appeal to basically, a lot of different industries.
Couple of points here. You have mentioned that you are based in Asia and part of the team as well. So that is actually how we met. And it is also adding to the point about the competition, because we both participated in startup competition, Anthony with Liteflow and I'm with Yoki Finance. But here we end, with, having a campaign, having participating in the podcast rather than competing. So yeah, you really could find the synergies between the projects rather than competing against each other. And you have mentioned the part of of making the standards in the blockchain gaming, and that was thing that was very popular narrative, that in the in the in the Web3 games, in the it was mostly called play to earn back that time, that there will be interconnectability between the different items. So you could have a profile in one game, and you could easily transfer that and with items to other game. And I really believe it will be, if it will be possible and it will be integrated, that will change drastically the landscape of gaming. Great point.
Yeah, I would say gaming, but not only gaming. And that's where it starts to be really interesting, because then you have the whole IP coming in with, now inside the game, you could have your avatar from whatever type of brand, or you can actually bring your shoes from Nike, all this kind of thing like that. And so that's where it starts to be like a lot more than gaming. Gaming is really, for me, it's like, and it always has been, in every type of businesses, it's a good way to lead the way. People will do game because it's like, it's something that is like, entertaining, and you kind of like it, and you can test different things. And when these things are tested and validated with game, then after you can see what you can bring into that, and you can bring a lot of like new economies in that, a lot of new, existing, industries in that. And if you think about like, one of the things that, for example, like gaming brought was like just having 3D files and having like all this kind of thing where like you can render digitally some stuff in 3Ds and all that. And this basically led to like, now you have like everything that you can render digitally. You can have like people actually working on a house and having it in 3Ds, like architect doing that. And so all the time, like games were actually like a good way to move not only the gaming industry, but the all industries forward. And I really see that happening as well on the Web3 space, where like games are kind of like leading the way on like how to do, interoperable assets, but also like economies with these different assets.
Yeah. I usually have that question. It's magic orb time. When I ask about, the forecast for the market. So what challenges do you foresee for blockchain adoption in the coming years? And how do you prepare to address them?
So I would say in terms of challenges, there is kind of like always the same type of challenges, which is adoption. How do people like get adoption on that? Especially that you have like the whole legal aspect, where it's like you deal with some token and things like that, which can be intimidating for some companies. One thing that's on our side we really try to push is not directly user adoption. Something that we believe is that blockchain is not for everyone. Not everyone should know that they have NFTs or token or thing like that. And I have an example that I take all the time that is quite interesting. Is like when you use like a social network like Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Do you know what type of database you have in the background? Is it like Postgres? Is it like MySQL? Is it no? You don't care as a user. You don't care, and that's something that there is still some work to do. But we need to get to that point where, for the end user, having the hey, you want an NFT or it's a token or it's blockchain shouldn't be something interesting. It should be like, now I have this business that is doing whatever type of thing, and they guarantee me that basically I own the asset that I create with them. That's it. That's all I need. That's the value added for that. And now because I own this, I can trade it and all that stuff. Having the whole like blockchain NFTs everywhere as a value proposition, it's something that we are still like, even after like many years, it's still something that a lot of people actually really push, a lot of companies and businesses actually push, where like my hope is really in the coming years, and we start to get there like quite a lot, especially in the gaming, where games are more like, they show more like the value of things rather than the technology behind things. And I think that's something that we need to work toward, that to really make sure like all these businesses, all the projects that work with Web3, they don't do it for the Web3 aspect, but to deliver value to their user. And then they could just sell this value to users. So I think this is one of the main challenge, I would say, that we have to make sure that businesses, companies, projects are here to really deliver the value to their user, and not just to use, marketing terms just to make sure like, hey, we are doing this on the blockchain, and expect to have like people to just come in just because of this aspect, which is good for the kind of like FOMO aspects. Like you can bring a lot of people really fast, but in terms of like long term, it's usually not great. And that's where like there is a lot of people that are a bit tired on the blockchain, like with all token, all this project launching, because a lot of them cannot sustain this excitement. And so the moment you are like, okay, we do NFT, we do token, and then there is nothing more, then the excitement is gone, and it's hard to actually build on that. So really, if you start to think on like creating a business, creating a product, and making sure that this product has value that is good for the user, and some of this value makes sense to have on the blockchain, then it's great. So still a long way, but we're definitely getting there. Yeah.
And what do you think about the NFT? Will the trend and market interest reverse to that, or should we expect another, verticals within NFTs being more popular? What's your opinion?
My opinion, which would be like something that's, I guess a lot of people might be against it, I would say, is that people shouldn't know about NFTs. Or it should be like something like maybe a badge that you have like as like hey, our website is secure because we have HTTPS. It could be like the same. Our assets are secure because we issue NFTs. Something like that. Something that's, after a couple of years, people will not even look at that. It will be just something normal that's, every website, every product needs to have that. It's fine. So I don't think that NFT should be something that people know about. But I do think that NFT should be part of like every single product. If you think about, I don't know, your Trello board that you use for work, like your card could be an NFT. If you think about your calendar or whatever, Notion, Google Calendar or something like that, what about an event being an NFT? If you think about like e-commerce where like you sell your products, then your receipt should be an NFT, even your product are an NFT. social network will be your post, your like, your retweets, all this kind of thing like that. So I do strongly believe that at some point we will be at the phase where like NFT will be easier, like the NFT technology basically will be easier to implement in the products. And so that's the part that we really try to push with Liteflow, where like it makes more sense even financially for company, for projects to work with NFTs rather than working with their own system that they need to secure and all that. And they will be like, okay, I want to create this type of assets. I do it as an NFT. Fine. Now it's compatible with every other product that I can partner with. Now it's something that my user actually own. So there is no issue with like, oh, but you steal our data or this kind of thing like that. It's something that the user will be able to do whatever they want with that. If they want to bridge this to some game that support this, they will be able to do that easily. That will open also the door for these businesses to really start to collaborate and now say like, we want to integrate your NFT, which is like this specific type of product and all that. So it will help massively businesses. And we still need to go to that point where like it's as easy to integrate NFT in your product than integrate like a normal, I would say like a normal library for development or something like that. And so that's really the part that we try to push with Liteflow to make it like really super seamless. So businesses would be like by default, yeah, I can integrate NFTs. I don't see any issue with that. There is only benefits to it. So why not? And right now it's still a bit harder for them to do that. And so that's where like Liteflow is really trying to come to really try to make sure like it's easier for them to integrate and then it starts to be like something that become obvious. But for the end user, they will not know about it. But we will have like every user, we have like thousands and thousands of NFTs. They will not even know about it. But for the one who are actually interested, they will be like, okay, now I can dig into it. And now all of these are NFTs. So now I can create whatever type of business model. I can become this kind of like creator economy where like now I can create this type of content on this product and sell it somewhere. And that will really empower like the whole space in general.
Yeah, and that is something we have discussed previously regarding the, having subscriptions as an NFT. For example, your gym subscription or subscription to some streaming service. And that is actually providing a lot of opportunities, in terms of if you want to resell your subscription or do you want, to cancel that. And there could be some pre-made conditions right into that NFTs regarding all that policies. And also, if companies would like to make some marketing campaign targeted at the holders of these NFTs, they could provide a discount or they could make an airdrop, for example, to holders of certain subscription NFTs. So I envision this will be a big trend as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think subscription is also like a really good example because I know there is like all the time this example of subscription for it made me think about like your subscription to the gym. You pay like a monthly commitment to the gym to go to do some exercise, but then you caught up in work and all that, and you just don't go there anymore. And you still have this subscription that is like for a year or something like that. And then you're like, I don't use it, but maybe my friend wants to use it. And you can actually resell these parts. There is no loss for anyone, basically. And that's something that is really interesting because even from that, you can start to see some stuff that you couldn't see before. Because now you could even have a kind of like marketplace, I would say, where people would actually trade this type of like membership, where the initial business would actually make money from that with some royalty system or this kind of mechanism. And so now you basically just by the fact that now you give this membership really to the user and the user actually own it, now it creates another economy on top of that, which is additional to the actual economy of issuing this membership in the first place. So yeah, definitely like giving these tools to the user is great. And yeah, membership, I do expect a lot on this part. That's actually some stuff that we are looking for with Liteflow to integrate that in our tool suites because we want to make sure that businesses have the tools they want to run any type of business model. And we all know that now in traditional Web2, I would say, a lot of these business models are based on subscription.
Yeah, and also ensure that once you purchase that, it is a legit, membership NFT rather than, trust someone you don't know. Because basically the people are trying currently to resell, their membership to people they know because there is, very little trust, in that. But once it is in the same standard and you can easily check that it's a legit, NFT, the process, as you have mentioned, of selling that on the marketplace could be very straightforward.
Yeah, and even like
Yeah.
the verification part is definitely a good thing, but even now you have this membership, I don't know, to the gym, and this gym is actually doing some partnership with whatever type of like restaurant to have like discount on the food if you have this membership. Then now you can actually do this type of thing really easily, and you can verify everyone, all your partners can verify these things easily. And so you can really, like, instead of trying to put complex system in place to, okay, let me know, we can do that, but you need to call me every time you want to verify or something like that. Now we have a standard way to verify all this, and that makes collaboration a lot easier.
Coming to some business questions for you. What has been Liteflow's strategy for growth and market penetration and customer acquisition so far?
So far, we've been relying pretty much exclusively on our network and building our network. So going to conferences, having basically word of mouth of like people are like, okay, we work with Liteflow, that was great, and they recommend some other people. So that's one of the main strategies. But we are starting to expand to do like a bit more like general marketing, to really try to attract, smaller, businesses, but also like people that are not part of our network somehow. But yeah, so that will be the stuff really going with conferences, talking with some people, trying to understand like who needs help when and where, and basically starting to work with them.
Happy to assist you with that on the content part. So uh, after the recording of the podcast, it will be available across all the platforms. So feel free to use it and share with your potential leads.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. If your main acquisition strategy is through word of mouth and using the network, generally the retention rate is better because you build more, personal relationships. But how do you ensure that users stay with you? What do you do for that?
I mean, this one, most of the users that we work with are actually businesses. So that's already one thing, is like businesses are harder to convert, but when you convert them, they actually stay here for usually like a longest period of time. So that's one way, already targeting businesses rather than user. It's already easier in terms of retention. But after, the only thing is basically giving them the support they need, giving them the product they need, and giving them like the service that they are looking for. And so far, like every single client that we work with, every single user that we work with, they are all like super happy with the work we did, with how we help them with their business and all that. And I mean, that's the best way to retain your customer, basically. Just providing the best service ever.
No secret sauce, right? Just
Yeah,
hard
no,
work.
just hard work, and that pays off. But that's also like the part where, like, right now we are really B2B focused, like I was saying a few times. So we don't necessarily have like thousands or millions of customers basically to manage. We still try to curate to get the best of the best basically, and to focus on this one to make sure we deliver like really, really good value to them.
You have that software as a service model, and what are the most preferred payment methods by your business customers?
So in terms of payment methods, we are doing a bit of a mix with normal payments, bank transfer, because again, some companies actually really use that and are not necessarily yet in the Web3 space. But a big part is actually crypto payments. We accept stablecoin. Yeah, client pay us monthly or like one shot if we do some specific work for them. They pay us with directly on the blockchain, basically.
Yeah, and as a founder of the crypto subscription payment gateway, I would like to know, what do you really think about that idea, and how do you just struggle with retention payments for the customers in crypto? And with bank cards, yeah, I would understand that, they attach the bank card and that's the automated process. But with crypto, is there any complications with that?
I mean, it's not necessarily super complex, but it can be time consuming because right now, it's like all the recurring aspects is like handled basically more or less manually. So need to invoice the clients and send them everything and then they pay and then we need to remind them like, hey, you forgot to pay and all this kind of thing. So that's definitely something that is doable, but require quite a lot of time. And tools like what you are doing, guys, with Yoki Finance and some other product like that, I think it's great because it actually helps businesses to just like focus on like, I want to get paid. I don't care about how I get paid and when I get paid and all that. I just want to have my money back, and so no need to actually worry about this part. That's why, like, I will take a similar example in terms of like how to manage payments in a company, which is Stripe, where like Stripe, and I've run some businesses in the past before Stripe was really a thing, and you had to deal with the bank and all the stuff like that. It was doable, but it was a lot of manual work. And then Stripe came in, and it's like, okay, now I can actually do that with just like a couple of line of code, and it's like, or even just clicking a few buttons, and now it's done, and now I don't have to focus about that anymore. That's really good because that's actually save a lot of like kind of like bandwidth in your mind, like, oh, I have to think about this, I have to think about that. So yeah, definitely something helpful. I know there is still like quite a lot of work to be done in the at least on the Web3, the blockchain space for subscription. There is different project that I was working like you with just like direct payment, but some other with like some NFT as subscription. It's still, I would say still, all these projects are still a bit early. They don't have the acquisition yet, but that's where there is actually companies like Liteflow that are here also to push this, to integrate this part in their business model to make sure that these tools get the acquisition they need.
Great to hear that. That's actually the problem that we are, solving. And we're coming to the last question. What's the best way for our listeners to learn more about Liteflow and get involved?
So best way would be to go on our website, liteflow.com. From there, you will have access to everything, all our socials. So we are mostly active on Twitter and LinkedIn. So Liteflow.com on Twitter and Liteflow.com on LinkedIn. Then from the website, you will be also able to have access to our dashboard to see all the different tools that we have, with like a free access to some of the tools. And from that, after the best way, if you see something that is interesting, we have a way to get on the call with someone in our team, that we probably be me for most of the cases, but yeah, if you have a project, let us know, either, book a call with us, send us a message, and we can discuss basically your project, discuss how we can help you and how to really make sure we boost your business in the Web3 space.
Thank you very much, Anthony, for joining that episode. It was great speaking with you. So many insights. If you guys want to get in touch, Please follow the advices that Anthony has given on how you could learn more about Liteflow. Do you have any final words?
Other than thank you for the space, that was great. And yeah, I know we met in Bangkok like a week, months ago, something like that. So good to see that again. It's like we see that going in conferences and all that, we can meet some good people, start to have some good connection and see where this goes. So yeah, definitely thanks for that. And yeah, I will definitely follow up to see what Yoki is doing, like what the progress is, and see if somehow it could be something that our clients are interested, because that's where like the more collaboration there is in the space, the better it is for the whole ecosystem. So I think that's the note I want to finish on.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for listening to us. It was the 4th episode of the Crypto Subscription Show. You could listen to that on X, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Podcast, and many more. Thank you so much, and see you soon.
Thank you.